How's it going, guys? AlphaYGO back at it again, and we got a really cool list for today. Gaia, as many of you know, is an all-time classic of Yugioh's deck all the way back from Duelist Kingdom. Gaia the Dragon Champion is one of my personal favorite nostalgia cards, and I thought it'd be cool to explore this deck today. The modern support that this deck has gotten is certainly focused on OTKing, so that'll be the aim for our list. And on top of this, we decided to throw in some really cool cards that have been released this past year, aka the branded engine. This engine works really great with this deck, and I'm gonna kind of go into it more later on in the profile. And of course, before we get into it, this list is purely a foundation and guide on how you can build your decks. Nothing I say is ever set in stone. But with that, let's get right into it. First, we are on 3 Artillery Catapult Turtle, basically the Stratos of the deck. 3 Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon. What a fantastic name. This one searches any Gaia spell / trap on summon, and one of the ways you can bring this dragon out, 3 Gaia the Magical Knight. We do also run the 1 Soldier Gaia the Fierce Knight, helps pump up damage and gives the deck some cool tricks. And for the last monsters, we are on 1 Hexil Fusion and 1 Albaz. These are for our branded engine, which we'll actually cover right now, because as we get into our spells, we are on 3 Branded Fusion, notorious for being an absolute power card, pumping out Mirror Jade, which is no doubt still a menace of a monster, and Branded Fusion can technically help us get into our Gaia Fusions as well, so I find there's a lot of versatility and upside here. Next we are on 3 of the field spell Galloping Gaia, along with 1 Terraforming. Next we have 1 set rotation. This of course means we would be on a second field spell, which in this case would be 3 Gateway to Chaos. Both these field spells are searches for our Gaias and Curse of Dragons, but the cool thing about this is, set rotation lets us give our opponent Gateway to Chaos, which can help lock them out of their own important field spells since they can't physically activate it, since they would need a valid target in deck. Which they won't, because what tier element player is running Gaia or BLS? Next up, we are on 3 Spiral Fusion, the archetypal poly that boosts our monsters for a chance to OTK. We also have the 1 Spiral Spear Strike, and 3 Extrav. And here we have a wide range of Board Breakers, 3 Storm, 3 Droplet, and 3 Chalice. Truthfully, these cards can easily be swapped out with whatever you see fit because meta shifts and personal budget are always a factor. Don't feel too stuck on running these exact 9. As long as it's something that weakens your opponent's setup and lets you get in with your monsters, that's all that matters. Finally, we're on the 1 Call by the Grave. And for the extra deck, we are on 3 Gaia the Magical Knight of Dragons, our go-to archetypal boss monster, 1 Sky Galloping Gaia, and 1 Curse of Dragon the Magical Knight Dragon. Man, what are these names? These last 2 are more for random utility. You could bump them up if you really want to try making them, but if you ever banish them off Extrav, you won't be missing them too much. Next up, we got a large setup for our branded engine, 3 Albion, 3 Mirror Jade, and 2 Lebellion, alongside 2 Alba Lenidus. Alba Lenidus isn't traditionally played with branded too often, but what's strong about this card is that on the end phase, it can search your Spiral Fusion. So in cases where you got the branded fusion follow-up already, you can send Lenidus off your Mirror Jade to get you into the Spiral Fusion. And that just about wraps up the list, and of course nothing is set in stone, but if you're ever curious about something and want to spark some discussion, leave it in the comments below and I'll always get back to you. Bye bye.